Hello, everybody. My name is Roberta Robbins, and today I have the lovely Debra Jones with me once again. Debra and I have been doing some sacred soul conversations and just connecting in with where we are within our world, our lives, everything about it, and sharing a conversation about that with the hopes that you will step in and join our conversation. Let us know how you're doing within this new paradigm, how that even is feeling and resonate, even that word for you. As we record this one, it is March 4th, I believe. And time, we could talk about a whole topic about what time is just like losing time, right? So whenever you tune into this, trust that is exactly when you're supposed to tap in and join the conversation. So good morning, Debra.
Good morning, Roberta. Nice to be here again.
It's lovely. It's like now we're starting a weekly habit.
Well, it's a fun, new, exciting thing to do. It kind of mirrors what's going on in our lives right now.
Yeah, I think not over planning, staying out of the mind, as we were just having a little giggle, I think, before we hopped on to recording this, because I could sense that we were kind of going into old mind pattern kind of stuff. And it's like, oh, now we just want to remember and drop in more into like, well, what is needed if it's a conversation during the week or not, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting shifting and allowing ourselves to do things in different ways. That seems to be the norm for everybody right now.
Yeah. So yeah, the norm for pretty much all of us right now. And so we were just having a conversation before we started to record. And we did a quick little reflection on our last conversation and just how that was feeling and resonating. And kind of like, well, where do we go today? And I think it came around to like back to the heart of what the sacred soul conversation of what you and I are stepping into is showing up in this moment and just allowing a conversation and dropping into our heart space to whatever that is. So, Debra, how are you doing today?
Much better than last time. At least I know where my head's at, and I have an idea where my heart's at right now too. So things are different from the last time we spoke. There's been some energetic shifts that I felt in our environment. So when we spoke last, it felt very stagnant, but looking into something was coming. Well, I was talking about there's a guest coming. Not sure the guest has arrived yet. However, I feel that almost like the gate has lifted, and now we're wandering into the paddock just to see where we are, what's here, and there are still things to discover. So it really feels like things have moved. We don't have the answers, and we don't see what it is yet, see clearly what it is yet. And vision is a focus I'm finding as well right now too, is, what are you daring to see, or what are you closing your mind not to see, and things like that. So I'm at a place where things are moving forward, and for my mind likes that.
Yes, I think, we definitely like the mind to be able to get in there and just sort things out and go, and have a conversation with us. But it is that I've been noticing that active focus of the mind, but going, all right, got to get back to the heart. What's the heart saying? Remember that conversation, this new way that I'm trying to be within myself. Well, I'm being asked, I'm being called to listen more deeply within the heart wisdom and deeper soul wisdom. So I've been noticing, I say every week always seems to be different. Like last week was a different energy. This week's a different energy. It's different than just even over the weekend and Monday, like Sunday, Monday, there was like, for me, a lot of things were shifting, and I felt like there was a integrating light codes and things that must have been going on, and even in dream time, and I was having to slow down again just to have some integration time, which is all great. But there does seem, I would agree in the sense that it feels like the answer, the clarity of what's coming isn't there, the guest, but there is some movement. Like I can feel it, and how there's like something that feels different than say January and February. There's something that's like almost like it can touch, and I get little glimmers of something kind of reaching out, but still don't know the whole what that is, and that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also that we can, it feels lighter. It feels that it's not like we're walking through mud or being held back. It feels like we can move forward, or we can explore. It's an exploration kind of feeling.
When you, as you're saying, like this movement and not stuck so much and things like that, there's this, I don't know if it's the Capricorn side of me, that lovely planet Saturn, that's saying, oh, but just hold on. You just don't know what tomorrow might be. You might be in the bog tomorrow, and that will be just divine for you, Roberta, if you're stuck in the bog tomorrow. You just need to surrender again. So I think that's what the last few months have really been teaching me, is like, oh, okay, there's movement, there's freedom, and there's some clarity and lighter energy, and something energetically has totally shifted within and around. And know that tomorrow might be different, and that's okay, because it feels like it's just the next step, the next integration, the next like moment to align with whatever's going on, and being okay with it, not getting frustrated within my mind and think, oh, I must have been confused about that energy, or or being hard on myself. So I think this is what's been teaching me the last few months, is just to be okay with wherever the energy is, whatever it's feeling like in that moment, in that day, and enjoy it when it is lighter like this, and go, okay, this is lighter than moments of February and January and even like December, like the last few months. And then my personal thought is, oh, energetically, we got spring coming, we got the turn of the wheel, we have Astera coming, so there's going to be this lightness. We know that in a few days the clocks are going to be going ahead, so we're going to start to feel it. So I'm like, is that helping us along? I'm thinking, for me, it feels like that's going to help me energetic along, as it's helping the land and the energy energetically, and we live in it, of course.
Yeah. And I think that what you were talking about the last time we spoke was about what brings you joy, but I'm seeing that I'm being shown to enjoy the good times when they're here, and not even thinking about what's around the corner, but being okay for whatever is around the corner. But as far as, if things are really feeling good right now, feel that. Step into that, and let the sun shine on your face. It's so beautiful, and just be in that, absorb that beautiful feeling for what it is, without judging it or wondering what else you can do with it. Just enjoying that, and the fruits of your labor. I'm finding maybe some things are coming to fruition. Mm-hmm. For me, some things are, and some things I'm finding it's a lot easier to get something, or to move through something. Mm-hmm. It feels free, and I'm thinking to myself, this is great, right? This is wonderful.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you about that. And we had last week, right? We had a lot of wintry days, and I stayed at home, just kind of hibernated in. But then we had a few days of like beautiful sunlight, And the energy did feel like then also was picking up. So it's like, I just found myself like, I need to get out. I need to be in the sunlight. I need to get out for my walks. I need to just enjoy that I'm feeling lighter and the energy around me is lighter and the people are feeling lighter, just embracing that. But I think I've also been learning is even on these the joy of those lighter, freer days is loving to appreciate the days where I might be feeling more tired or, there's a lot more maybe mental energy coming in, and then I'm having to put some more energy into dropping and grounding and going within a little bit more because that's what's being asked to slow down. So to appreciate those moments instead of sometimes feeling like we want that brighter day. Like for myself, I'm like, oh, what about that brighter day, lighter day where everything's moving? But to embrace that side, like that it's like there's no good and bad. It's what is needed at this time. So I'm feeling that appreciation a little bit more. And myself, because I follow a lot of the numerology of the days, like our personal days and of the month and everything like that. We ended February with an 8-day and we started March on an 8-day. So this weekend we had 2 8s and that's my personal day. So I appreciate that I was like felt so aligned and in vibration, like my biorhythm was really good. And that was a nice thing to say, oh, you're good, like you're in alignment to this, and you just were gifted 2 days of it back to back from the ending of a month to a beginning of a new one. And so just loving like little energy and things that are like that are gifts of the universe that's going on. But if I had a really crappy 8 days, then I've been like, oh, well, okay, let's like see what's going on here and appreciate those gifts too. So it's like appreciation for the light and the dark, the heavy, the bright, kind of all of it right now, because we need all of it. That's my family. We need to appreciate all of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I need to know what my personal days are. You'll have to do my numerology for me.
I totally can.
But I find I like to go with the flow more so these days. Like I have tools, I have cards that I go to for guidance when I really feel stuck. And I've not been looking for the answers, but being in the moment and knowing that I've got the tools. It's nice to know that we've got the tools. It's nice to know that we can manage any situation, but we don't have to rely on it. We don't have to use it as a crutch. We don't have to take it word for word and live, around the boundaries of our tools. Yeah. The tools are just tools. They're not who you are. They're things you use, right?
I think there's that, knowing that we're stepping more into our own personal power and wisdom. And yes, they are tools that we have, and we have all these great ones in our lives and what they resonate to us. But it's also just like we have the wisdom. Like some days we might need to, like I might need to go to cards, or I might need to go do a journey, or various things. But it's like they're there just to support, not for me to give away, right? Power. And I try to say this with my clients too. It's like they're there to support you, walk with you like a friend, like a good friend, when you're like, I need a little extra advice, but I'm going to anchor into my own wisdom and truth along with it. So it's nice like to be able to do that dance and really feel like totally when we need it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Last weekend with the weekend, I had so much energy that I ended up doing so many card readings, like for the month of March. And I did these are collective ones, but I also ended up doing one for the zodiac signs. Like I was like on fire weekend. And one of my friends said, you just did 7 readings today. Like, and I'm like, yeah. And I totally felt fine. And I could feel where my end range was. And I stopped and honored that. And I said, what's great is I'm stopping and honoring when I feel like where that fullness is, and then stopping before I get drained. Okay, the zodiac reading's done. But I was like, the next day I'm going to check in and see how I feel, and I'll continue on. And it's a new way of being without pressure so much on myself too, with whatever I'm doing out in the world. That's what feels different too. It's like just trusting that we don't have to be, or at least I don't have to be, in the schedule set kind of dynamics that I feel like I've been in, and society kind of says that you have to be in with
Mm-hmm.
our work and how we're living. It can
Mm-hmm.
just show up and be and feel where I am in that day.
Yeah. I'm seeing a trend in my healing room lately, in that we're stepping up and stepping into ourselves, and with the idea of we have the wisdom, we have tools, we have experience, and there seems to be I call it a trend because I see it over and over again, back to back, that we are really stepping up our game within ourselves. And so allowing ourselves to be wise and trusting in what comes for us as far as thoughts and directions and things like that. And just, we don't need to answer to anyone but ourselves. We can say, this is me, right? This is my truth. And to be able to share that. And I'm seeing that over and over right now.
Yeah, I'm seeing it too with friends, with clients. It's that like you said, I like that word, like the permission. We're giving ourselves permission. We're allowing, and I think it's because we're feeling like we're starting to feel and know what that is for ourselves. And even we're seeking relationships and partnerships that aren't so much like I need the answers and help. It's more like I just need to be witnessed or supported and be in co-collaboration of like what your medicine and power is to mine. Like there's different dynamics that are happening now. I find with all relationships, every kind, there's something shifting there.
Yeah. And we talked before about letting things go, and I think letting relationships go, or letting ways of being go. So there's been a lot of shifting and highlighting where my healing might still have some work to be done. Yet it seems easier to face it now. Um, it seems that we feel powerful enough to be able to make those choices and decisions. I think that's the difference, is we know we are powerful enough that we can make some changes in our world and we'll be fine, right? And that's what I mean by stepping into yourself, stepping into your power, owning your power, and saying, this is my choice and this is where I'm going, and that's good. That's good.
Yeah. Interesting, what we're just talking also about, just relationships, how some relationships we're letting go of some relationships too. I'm also noticing that we're starting to look at the relationships we have and that they're changing. Like I was saying, like we're noticing that within things like how we're holding our power differently, each of us. And I'm thinking this from my personal life in the sense of even me and my partner. We're married and our structure, but we're like we do some business stuff together, we're friends, we cheer on each other, but the dynamics of what the old paradigm has said what that should look like in a marriage, and how we live our lives, it's changing. We're because we're growing, we're changing. So we can feel like even like we're learning, we're starting this journey to understand different aspects of what it is for us, but also what society feels about them, and how that's maybe like there's something totally different going on to where, say, 7 years ago when I started my relationship with my partner, how I thought my container was and the steps. Now it's like being kind of almost like pulled apart a little bit to be looked at in different aspects, and then being asked, well, where do you go from now with what you need and who you are outside of confinement and structures of society. So I see that with relationships right now, like the partnership relationships with your spouse, your life partner, your common law, with all those different titles that we have nowadays. But also, I think it's happening probably in different, like even the healer to the, like you and I, we've talked about you, me, and Julie, like that, how we're trying to understand how we support each other, and that kind of relationship. Like there's a lot of relationship stuff going on right now, I find.
Yeah. And I think it's important to realize that we're not the only ones that are shifting and changing.
Yeah.
It is our partners and our relationships. They're shifting and changing too.
Mhm.
No, nothing has stayed the same. And that's why it feels so unusual, because usually we could rely on so and so acting this way, and that's the way they do it. But now they're not doing it that way. And so we're not really sure where we stand sometimes in relationships, because all of that is shifting too. Right? So it's not just us that is changing and feeling the changes. Everybody around us is doing it also. And so if we remember that, we don't hang our hat on any particular way or behavior or the way a person is, and maybe even see them for the pure soul that they are, rather than what they've done to you or how they've behaved in the past. And that dropping into the heart, maybe the hearts are talking to each other more so than maybe the heads used to talk to each other.
Yeah.
Right. And so with this shift, everything is different, but I'm also finding that it's coming into alignment. So those people around me are shifting and finding their power and coming into alignment with themselves. And it's a beautiful thing to watch and witness. And then figuring out, as you said, how do you work with that? What am I going to do with that? And am I going to support that, or am I going to say that that doesn't align with me and let it go? And so we're in this. I talked about the candy store last time. You've got all of these choices, all of these options. Pick the best one for you. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we've been hearing about how to live from the heart space, right? How to live with, be in unconditional love. And I really think this is like given us the beautiful opportunities to really examine how we're loving ourselves first. How have we been doing with all that healing and self-care and those belief systems and what we deserve and nurturing ourselves? Like, so it's like getting a anchoring and reflection of this journey so far, which of course we're in a retrograde of Mercury, and all retrogrades, right, give us that revisiting, right? So we have that revisiting of how well have we done with our soul love for ourselves, but then this beautiful opportunity of these relationships, how we can really come from a place of love, from our heart space for ourselves and for others, and step into what unconditional love really is. And I had a friend who just like last week sent me this post, and it was about unconditional love and how unconditional love, it's not just within us. It's like stepping into a matrix. It's beyond us, the unconditional love field of the collective, and more than the work we can do in ourselves. But we have to do in ourselves to be able to start to expand our energies and awareness out to be in that unconditional love. But I think we're even now, that what I just said, we weren't able to even understand or contemplate what that even meant. What do you mean, Roberta? From here to here, like, what the heck are you even talking about? Now we're getting the understanding, the wisdom, and the experiences that we can start to use different language and understand the energetic fields of different realms within that we're more than just this body, right? That we're so much more within different space and time. That is where unconditional love is sitting for all of us. So
Yeah. And these times with what's going on in the world right now, there's the exact opposite being shown to us, the fear, with the virus. And I'm not going to be talking about that because that is low vibration. That is not the vibration of love and unconditional love. That is the exact opposite. And I'm of the belief that these things are happening for us to clearly see the difference. And so maybe we do drop into the fear, but we don't have to stay there. We need to recognize, oh, I've dropped into the fear. And you can perpetuate that with all of the suggestions that everybody is putting out there as to how to protect yourself because there's something to be fearful of right now. Well, the best protection is high vibration energy, and that is of love. So drop into love, step into love, think loving thoughts rather than of the fear, and you're protected. That's the best protection that's out there,
yeah.
right? And so I believe that, we're in a world that has focused on duality, this and that, me and you, us and them, and black and white, good and bad, fear and love. And so the whole world we live in is about duality. And so if we can recognize that, and we know when we're stepping into fear, and we know what the opposite of that is. So if we're not comfortable in that fear, or we don't feel very good in that fear, the answer is the opposite of that. Step into that instead, right? We've got the power to do that. And we're starting to realize that. And I'm noticing on social media too, people aren't necessarily focused, or at least the circles that I'm in don't seem to be focused so much on it. It comes through, but I'm seeing people giving the advice to people of don't step into that fear. And it's, that is our superpower, be able to recognize what's going on and to change it if we need to.
Yeah, I think that awareness that people are starting to realize, like you say, it's a duality energy, fear to love, right? And they has different vibrations. We know love feels like light and bright, right? Our energy, the vibration's higher. When we're stepping into fear, it's dense. It feels uncomfortable. It's just, it draws you down, right? So all these things are opportunities for us to go, oh, I'm feeling the difference. And yeah, I want to reach higher. I don't want to stay in that heavy density of the fear. Like, we're noticing it and mastering it within ourselves more. And I believe there's so many things out there that is showing us another opportunity for us to go, okay, here's your another chance to, where do you want to choose to empower yourself to be? And it's also, these things are going to trigger for some those other heavy density energies there too, to give them opportunities to rise up, because there's layers of things going in, right? But it's just like, it's another gift and another way to help us move into higher vibrational love and light for ourselves and for the life we want. And of course, we just as we all do it catches on fire. Because where I'm going to catch on fire because I've been watching the Hunger Game movies the last few nights. But it spreads, right? It is like a virus, but a lovely light vibrational love virus. The more that all of us are holding and changing that within ourselves. And I would agree, like, I don't seem to be surrounded by people that are talking about these things and these media stuff, but I know there is people that are, and that there's no right or wrong. It's just that it's giving that duality even in each other's lives, right? To see and feel the difference and to rise up to meet it in a better space. Yeah.
Yeah. And know that we have the power to do so.
Mm.
It's not being done to us, and we're not being forced to feel the fear. It's free choice, and exercising that free choice, choosing something better. If you don't like it, move away from it. If you don't want it, let it go. Right?
Don't throw your power away. You have your choice, right? That's the thing. Don't throw your own power away. So Deborah, we're coming up to around our half an hour time mark that we aim for, because we know we got to keep somewhat of a container for ourselves, or who knows where we would go off to with our calls. So knowing that, for this call here, it feels like what I was hearing for it is that, we're not in the place we were. Things have shifted. The energy's lighter, that we've been noticing that, how that is feeling in our lives, stepping into more mastery and power and choices for ourselves. We can hear the topics of things like the relationships and how all relationships are changing, and that holding compassion for the others that we're in partnerships with, and having more love and compassion is like a high theme and topic of things that are changing, that we're noticing in our lives. Anything else that you want to leave our conversation with, thoughts and energies that we could, hopefully other people that are watching this might want to join us? We hope that they will, in conversation of what they're noticing and working with within their lives right now.
Well, I think you covered it. I think we covered it. Um, as far as yourself and how you're feeling, are you feeling powerful? And if you're not, what do you need to get you there? Maybe there are some tools, maybe there's somebody that can help you get into that powerful sense, to encourage that power to come out of you. And so if you're not feeling powerful in a time where that's all we've been talking about, is stepping into our power, because it's available to everybody, not just healers. Right? Everybody is able to have that sense of power and a handle on their own lives. And so if you're not feeling that, we're available to help. Other people are available to help. Tools are out there too. Raise your own vibration. Right? That's my advice, is notice when you're feeling low vibration. What can you do to make yourself feel better? It might be simply going out into nature. Nature is the best healer. It's free. It's out there for you always. Right? But don't stay in the energy of fear or in a low vibration. You don't have to. You've got choices.
Yeah, definitely. You have choices, you have the power. And there's so many good things, like free things like nature. So, and the fact that winter, we might be feeling here in our area, like, yeah, it's winter when spring coming, but embrace that there's a beauty of winter right now. So it will be gone before we know it. So taking time to exactly anchor yourself in with things in your life that bring you joy. So thank you, Deborah, for joining me for another conversation. And for everybody that is watching, of course, in the description box, I will have my info and Deborah's info if you want to reach out to us for any guidance, any support, or just like have a, whatever it is, ask us a question. Please use the comments too in this our channel, and we will get back to you. We love hearing from you and how everything is resonating in your life. And yeah, enjoy this beautiful day. We only have a few more days left of Mercury retrograde, so take advantage of it.
Absolutely.
Brace whatever the heck is coming up for you to be like looking at. Because you know what, we're moving on. There's so many other great things that are going to be happening. So embrace where you are and all the goodness of it. So until then, thank you, Deborah.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And we'll chat again, I'm sure, sometime soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.